The Grand Nexus station drifted in the void of space like a massive steel blossom. Its metallic branches spread in every direction, each larger than sprawling cities. Vessels from every corner of the galaxy docked at its countless ports. Today was no ordinary day. Today, the 5 most dominant alien civilizations would gather to display their armadas. Captain Li Wu strode through the station's central corridor. His plain brown uniform seemed dull beside the vibrant attire of the aliens surrounding him. A datapad rested in his hand as he resisted the urge to gawk at the strange beings nearby. Some possessed more arms than seemed possible. Others glowed softly like living lamps. A few hovered gracefully above the floor, never touching it. The council chamber was immense. 5 tables stood in a ring, each crafted for a different alien kind. Li Wu discovered his modest seat toward the back. His role was to observe and absorb. Humanity wanted to understand what these mighty species could accomplish. The first to rise was High Admiral Thexar of the Valorian Empire. Towering 3 meters tall, his metallic blue skin gleamed. His forearms shifted with each word, his thunderous voice filling the chamber. "Friends, allies, lesser creatures," Thexar began, laughter echoing like rolling storms. "You've all heard whispers of our fleet, but today you'll learn the reality of Valorian might." With a sweeping gesture, a hologram shimmered above the table. It revealed a vessel so colossal it eclipsed the stars behind it. Pitch black, and bristling with weapons, it looked capable of shattering entire worlds. "This is but one of our stellar devastators," Thexar declared proudly. "We command 500 of these wonders. Each rivals your small moons in scale. Each bears the power to rend a planet apart." Murmurs rippled from the other delegates, tones mixed with awe and envy. "Our engines are driven by black holes," Thexar continued. "Yes, you heard correctly. We capture black holes and harness them. Their strength surpasses imagination. With a single strike, our cannons reduce a planet to drifting ash. We've conquered 47 star systems with nothing but these ships." The hologram shifted, displaying carnage. Valorian warships unleashed searing beams that sliced through enemy fleets with merciless precision. Planets erupted in fiery annihilation. Stations liquefied as though struck by a star. "The Helix Rebellion dared oppose us," Thexar laughed. "With 10,000 ships, all destroyed within 6 hours, their worlds still smolder in ruin." Li Wu quickly typed notes into his pad. Ship dimensions, weapon classes, and fleet numbers, all carefully recorded. Humanity would hunger for these details. When Thexar concluded, Fleet Mind Zix Nova of the Cry-STC Collective took her turn. Her form resembled a radiant crystal sculpture, light coursing through every facet. When she spoke, her words chimed like music. "How primitive," she said, her voice ringing through the hall. "You boast of smashing planets as though it were art. Destruction is simple. We of the Christ see. Collective shape and unmake at will." Another hologram materialized. This projection revealed vessels that seemed alive. They swam through space like schools of fish, their forms crafted from the same crystalline essence as Zix Nova herself. "Our ships are not manufactured," she declared. "They are cultivated, they live. When struck, they repair themselves. When challenged, they evolve." Within the display, a cruiser endured enemy blasts. Its hull tore open, yet the wounds sealed shut, growing new plating stronger than before. "But that is not our finest mastery," Zix Nova added. "Observe." The vision shifted, showing a crystal ship racing toward an opposing fleet. Weapons blazed at it, but the craft dissolved into vapor. Fire passed harmlessly through its intangible form. Moments later, it solidified, now buried within enemy ranks. "We traverse matter itself," Zix Nova boasted. Your armor offers no defense. Your shields are useless. We emerge within your vessels and rip them apart from the inside. The Mordak Empire learned this when we seized their capital world without launching a single volley from outside. Li Wu's stylus raced across his pad. This was technology, unknown to humanity, a discovery that could transform the art of war. Next spoke War Chief Keithan of the Void Hunters. He resembled a walking shadow, his form restless even when still. Crimson eyes glimmered faintly in what could be called his face. "Pretenders," he hissed, voice like wind moaning through graves. "You prattle of self-healing hulls and phasing tricks as if they matter. True strength is to be unseen until the strike has already fallen." His projection displayed empty void. For long moments, silence. Then suddenly, warships materialized from nowhere, sculpted of darkness itself, gliding without sound. "We are sovereigns of stealth," Keithan declared. "Our ships dwell partly in shadow space, a realm brushing yours yet hidden. We leap across the galaxy at will. We materialize beyond your strongest bastions without the faintest signal." The hologram now showed Voidcraft overwhelming a colossal fortress, bristling with cannons and sensors. Yet none perceived them until the invaders were inside. "Our armada numbers 400, Keithan continued, "but you shall never witness them. We erased the Keylarian Grand Fleet as they slumbered in their bunks. Their doom was upon them. Before they realized war had begun, the vision showed phantom craft phasing into hostile vessels, slaughtering crews, and vanishing like wraiths. It was a ghost war made real. Your radiant beams and regenerating ships mean nothing if you cannot strike what you cannot perceive." His words ended with something that may have been a smile. Rising next was Grand Marshal Vexthul of the Plasma Lords. He possessed no fleshly body at all, only a storm of fire and lightning contained by radiant armor. As he spoke, heat shimmered in the air. "Children and their trinkets," he thundered, voice crackling like a blaze through forest. "You boast of metal and crystal shells as if they mattered. We are beings of energy itself. Our fleets are forged of plasma bound in fields of power." The display revealed radiant ships blazing like bottled suns. Their brilliance forced Li Wu to shield his gaze, though it was but a projection. "Our vessels reach 100 million degrees, Vexthul boasted. "We liquefy armor in moments. We reduce proud warships to molten slag before their captains draw breath." The vision showed Plasmalord fleets assaulting opponents. Wherever their fire struck, metal ceased to exist. Colossal dreadnoughts slumped into rivers of liquid, as fragile as wax beneath a furnace. "We wield 350 ships of living flame," Vexthul continued. "Each burns with the fury of a star's core. The Zenthari Confederation dared oppose us with their strongest alloys. Within an hour, their fleet was nothing but searing vapor." At last, Queen Mother Lick's aura of the hive swarm spoke. Her figure resembled a vast insect, too many eyes watching, wings humming ceaselessly. Her voice was a chorus of many mouths speaking as one. "Numbers," it intoned in unison. "All your mighty fleets. Together your fleets are mighty, yet they cannot rival our sheer mass. You boast of hundreds. We command thousands upon thousands." Her hologram unfolded, revealing the void swarming with tiny vessels. They filled the screen like a storm of furious insects. Individually small, collectively they blotted out the stars. "We field 10,000 warships," Ligzara proclaimed, "each directed by the hive mind. They move as one, they think as one, they fight as one. When a vessel falls, the rest absorb its lessons and grow stronger." The vision showed the swarm besieging a fortified planet. The defenders were powerful, their weapons keen, but the tide engulfed them regardless. "For every fallen drone, 10 more arose. We devoured the Tellus Republic in 6 hours," Ligzara said with grim delight. "Every tree, every stone, every shred of metal, consumed to spawn more ships. Their fortifications were proud, but no defense endures against infinity. Li Wu finished scribbling his notes, scanning the chamber. Every faction radiated pride, convinced of its supremacy. Each had carved empires, humbled foes, and now they regarded one another with rivalry tempered by wary respect. Yet none had inquired about humanity's fleet. The 5 leaders reclined in satisfaction, tales of conquest told, their forces displayed. Debate surged anew, the air thick with tension. High Admiral Thexar folded his 4 cobalt arms, laughter, booming. Phase tricks are amusing, Crystal One, but worthless against weapons that unmake entire star systems. Zix Nova's body flared with crystalline brilliance. Crude annihilation is the refuge of the simple-minded. Our ships evolve beyond your clumsy planet breakers before they can even target us. War Chief Kathran's shadow writhed with dark humor. And yet you both speak as if foes will politely remain in place. My vessels strike unseen from dimensions your senses cannot fathom. Grand Marshal Vexthul blazed brighter, plasma crackling. Stealth is meaningless. My flames scorch reality itself. Your shadows would vaporize before striking. Queen Mother Lixara's voices buzzed as one. Your narrow visions amuse me. War is not duels of pride. It is endurance, resources, numbers. We can replace ourselves faster than you can count your losses. Their quarrel rose in fury until Captain Li Wu gently cleared his throat. A soft sound, yet it pierced the storm. 5 alien gazes turned toward him, surprise and faint amusement on their faces. Forgive me, Li Wu said, bowing slightly. I do not intend to intrude on such vital discussion. Yet humanity wishes to contribute to the Galactic Defense Network. A hush lingered before Thexar burst into laughter. His voice thundered off the walls, joined swiftly by the others. Soon the hall roared with alien mirth. The human dares to contribute, Thexar bellowed. How precious. Tell us, little one, what can your kind possibly offer beings like us? Zix Nova's melodious tones chimed with mockery. Humans are scarcely 2 centuries removed from their cradle world. They only just crawl among stars. What could they know of true war? Li Wu remained poised amid their laughter, waiting until it subsided. We have constructed a few ships, he replied evenly. It would honor us to stand beside such magnificent armadas. War Chief Kathan's eyes glowed blood red with mirth. A few ships, he says. How many, little human? A dozen? 2 dozen fragile toys? Our intelligence says you still hurl rockets with chemicals. Vexthul's laughter crackled like fire. Do you still burn fuel like savages of old? Queen Mother Lixara's chorus buzzed almost kindly. Do not fear, small ones. When the real threats come, we shall protect you. Perhaps you will haul supplies for our grand fleets. That would be of use. Li Wu inclined his head politely. Your generosity is appreciated. Admiral Park Jin approaches even now with a small escort. He will demonstrate what humanity offers to our shared cause. Aliens traded looks, a mix of curiosity and amusement. A demonstration from the primitive humans promised to be entertaining. At least a show? Thexar asked, grinning, teeth gleaming like serrated metal. Wonderful. We would be honored to watch your tiny ships play at war. From her quiet seat, Commander Kim Hai finally spoke. If I may, I would like to ask some technical questions while we await Admiral Park Jin. Her tone was crisp, polite. Your technologies fascinate me. The aliens preened at the compliment, pleased to speak of their superiority. Of course, young human, Fleet Mind Zix Nova said graciously. What do you wish to know of our crystal fleets? Kim Hai retrieved her pad, inquiring about energy needs of phase drives, regeneration speeds of biomechanical hulls, and materials used in construction. Zix Nova answered eagerly, oblivious to how pointed the questions were. To her, they were simply the naive wonderings of a primitive. At the same time, Li Wu struck up a conversation with War Chief Kathran regarding stealth systems. "Your shadow space is fascinating," he said sincerely. "How do your ships hold formation when blind to one another?" Kathran, flattered, described the quantum links that bound his armada through hidden dimensions. Pride swelled in his words, happy to boast before one who seemed impressed. Grand Marshal Vexthul, meanwhile, lectured another human officer about plasma containment, explaining the difficult equations that prevented their own star-hot weapons from consuming them. His listener asked sharp questions on conversion rates and cooling, drawing more details. Even Queen Mother Lagzara found herself elaborating on hive mind coordination with a human scientist who feigned fascination with how thousands of vessels could operate as a single will. Only High Admiral Thexar remained cautious. "Your people ask very precise questions," he remarked to Li Wu, "not the questions of sightseers or envoys." Li Wu only smiled, shrugging lightly. "We are a curious species. When faced with wonder, we seek to understand. It is simply who we are. Curiosity is perilous," Thexar warned, though his tone held humor, not menace. "Take care it does not lead you beyond your place." "Of course," Li Wu agreed calmly. "We know our station in this galaxy." At that moment, alarms rang through the station. The calm voice of the AI filled the air. "Attention, all vessels. Priority transmission from Human Fleet Command for Captain Li Wu. Admiral Park Jin's escort has reached the outer marker and requests approach." The alien's attention sharpened. The human display was near. "How many ships has your admiral brought?" Zix Nova asked. "A small escort, perhaps 50 vessels," Li Wu replied. War Chief Kathran made a low, approving sound. 50 is respectable for so young a people. We shall see what you consider worth an admiral's presence." Beyond the grand viewing panes, the void rippled as hyperspace ruptured. A sleek, dark craft emerged first, roughly cruiser-sized but edged with sharp, aggressive angles. More followed, precise and orderly. All were painted in muted gray and black, bare of ornament, lit only by necessity. "Interesting," Grandee Marshal Vexthul mused, flames flickering. "Their design is efficient." Queen Mother Laxara's voices hummed. "Clean forms, no excess. These are ships shaped by minds that understand war." High Admiral Thexar studied them closely. "They lack the grandeur of stellar devastators, but they move well. See how they keep alignment, perfect precision." The human fleet settled into formation around the station. Even the aliens had to admit the discipline was impressive. "Remarkable coordination," Zix Nova allowed. "For such a young race, their unity is noteworthy," Li Wu's communicator chimed. "Admiral Park Jin awaits your permission to begin," he relayed to the leaders. War Chief Kathran gestured with a shadowy hand. "By all means, let us see what your admiral intends to reveal." "What form will this demonstration take?" Grand Marshal Vexthul inquired. Li Wu glanced at his communicator once more. "Admiral Park Jin proposes a sequence of tests. First, a firepower display against asteroids, then defensive trials, and finally maneuvers." The aliens nodded, approving the structure. These were sensible trials to measure any fleet's worth. "We accept," High Admiral Thexar declared. "Let your admiral reveal humanity's strength." Before their eyes, the human fleet shifted into position. Ships fanned out in flawless order, each gliding to precise coordinates with uncanny discipline. Commander Kim Hai had ceased her probing questions, now studying the tactical spacing with keen interest, stylus racing across her pad. "Your admiral conducts himself well," Fleet Mind Zix Nova observed. "These formations are quite proper for a martial display. Admiral Park Jin has commanded fleets for 20 years, Li Wu replied evenly. He is seasoned. 20 years, Queen Mother Lixara mused, amused. A lifetime to your kind, yet impressive. He must be formidable indeed to endure. So long. Outside, massive asteroids drifted into alignment for target practice. Then, Admiral Park Jin's voice carried across the comms, steady and commanding. This is Admiral Park Jin, Human Defense Fleet, initiating demonstration sequence. Alpha. All stations, prepare firepower display. The alien dignitaries leaned closer to the grand windows, anticipation etched across their faces. They longed to see what these primitives considered weaponry. Thexar casually poured Valorian battle wine, expecting farce. Observe their targeting, Zix Nova said with melodic laughter. So crude, so manual. They must aim every cannon by hand. War Chief Cathran's shadow rippled in mirth. Watch how sluggishly they align. My fleets could erase them all before their first volley. In the void, 50 human warships arranged themselves into a perfect line before the asteroid belt. Each ship was placed with mathematical precision, equidistant as if drawn by ruler. At the forefront, Captain Yunha's destroyer, the UEES Bususans, Edge, assumed point position. Smaller than some, her vessel was sleek, with weapon ports arrayed along its hull like serrated fangs. Target lock achieved, came Yunha's calm voice over comms. All ships report ready for synchronized fire. The aliens exchanged knowing looks. Coordinated volleys were impressive, demanding skillful command. But surely this was an attempt to mask weak arms with spectacle. Firing in 3, 2, 1, Admiral Park Jin commanded. What followed erased all mockery. The human ships discharged simultaneously. 50 magnetic accelerator cannons thundered as one, hurling solid projectiles at impossible velocity. The slugs were invisible, moving so swiftly they seemed to vanish and reappear at their marks. The first asteroid, a city-sized monolith, ceased to exist. In one instant whole, in the next, reduced to drifting dust as the round tore through it and detonated its heart. Yet this was but the opening act. The second target was larger, the scale of a minor moon. The human round struck dead center, boring. A flawless tunnel through the core before splitting the entire mass in two. Then came the third trial, more daunting still. 3 massive asteroids chained together by steel cables. The human round pierced the first asteroid, tore through the second, then slammed into the third, and vaporized it completely. 3 targets, destroyed with a single shot. Grand Marshal Vexthul's fiery glow dimmed with shock. That projectile carried energy through 3 impacts, he whispered. Such penetration is impossible. No standard weapon retains that much power after multiple strikes, Queen Mother Lexara's chorus finished. High Admiral Thexar lowered his untouched wine, folding all 4 arms as his gaze sharpened. What alloy do they use for such rounds? Captain Li Wu checked his pad. Depleted uranium core, tungsten carbide jacket, enhanced by gravitational compression. The aliens froze. Gravitational compression was a technology rarely achieved before a millennium of starfaring. How did humans master it? Fleet, Mind Zix Nova asked in unease. We recovered wreckage from the Helix Rebellion, Li Wu said evenly. Our scientists reverse-engineered and refined it. War Archief Cathran's crimson eyes flared. You stole battlefield tech and improved it. We learn from all, Li Wu answered with a slight smile. That is our way. Admiral Park Jin's steady voice filled the chamber. Commencing defensive demonstration, UEES Mokpo will serve as target ship. A heavy human cruiser drifted forward, bristling with armor and layered defenses. Volunteer fleets may fire. Reduced power only, Park Jin instructed. Thexar straightened. They want us to strike their ship? At safe output, Li Wu assured. Enough to test systems, not to destroy. Intrigued, the Valorian admiral complied. Main plasma cannon, 15%. The colossal dreadnought's stellar conquest trained its weapons. Even throttled down, the plasma beam glowed with power enough to liquefy most armor. "Fire when ready," came Captain Choi Bin's calm reply. The cannon discharged, a blazing torrent of energy smashing into the cruiser midships. The aliens, braced for armor to melt. Instead, the human shields flared bright blue, absorbing and bleeding off the strike harmlessly into space. Then the shield changed. Blue shifted to green, then yellow, its lattice patterns growing more intricate. The barrier was adapting, learning the weapon in real time. "Impossible," Thexar breathed. "Their shields evolve." When the plasma fire ceased, the human cruiser's barrier hadn't weakened. It pulsed stronger, recalibrated precisely against Valorian arms. "Our turn," Fleetmind Zix Nova said sharply. A crystal ship glided into range and unleashed its dreaded phase beam, designed to bypass most matter. The energy struck, expected to slip through the shield and into the hull. Instead, the barrier shifted again, into a crystalline lattice, mirroring the frequency of the beam. The shot reflected back, forcing the crystal vessel to swerve. The crystal ship barely swerved in time to avoid its own attack. "Those shields adapted to counterphase tech in seconds," Zix Nova said, alarm sharpening her voice. "Such advancement should take years of research." War Arc Chief Kathran fired next, loosing a darkness beam, partially existing in shadow space, a weapon no normal defense could stop. The human shields flickered, then pulsed with black energy, extending into both normal and shadow realms. The beam failed instantly. "They just entered shadow space," Kathran hissed. "No species learns that so fast." Grand Marshal Vexthul and Queen Mother Luxara unleashed their weapons in turn. Each time, the human barrier shifted and adapted, nullifying their strikes. By the end, the cruiser was encased in a shield impervious to every major weapon in the galaxy. "How can this be?" Vexthul demanded. "Adaptive shields require quantum processors the size of moons." From the back, Dr. Jiang Min finally spoke. "Our ships employ artificial intelligence networks. Each AI runs millions of threat models in real time, adjusting instantly." The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. AI was dangerous technology, something most civilizations feared. Humans wielded it with casual ease. "Beginning maneuverability demonstration," Admiral Park Jin announced. The fleet erupted into impossible movement. Ships twisted, rolled, and accelerated without the inertia shifts that normally plagued space vessels. Captain Yunha's destroyer executed a maneuver that made the veteran aliens gasp. She drove full speed at an asteroid, flipped end over end, without losing velocity, then shot away in the opposite direction. "Such inertial dampeners defy physics," Queen Mother Luxara admitted, voices edged with unease. "The crew should have liquefied." "Our artificial gravity nullifies acceleration," Li Wu explained smoothly. "The crew feels nothing no matter the vector." The ships finished their flawless display just as alarms shrieked across the Grand Nexus. Emergency sirens howled, red lights flashing. The calm station AI was replaced by a grim warning. "Massive fleet approaching. All defenses active. This is not a drill." The 5 alien leaders rushed to the tactical table. The feed populated, and their confidence drained. 2,000 ships, Thrawn muttered, shadow form quivering. The crimson tide. "Impossible," Thexar growled, 4 arms dancing over his comms. "My stellar devastators patrolled those sectors. How did they breach the nets?" Zix Nova pulsed with rapid light. "Standard pirate protocol. They demand tribute, pay, or be destroyed." On the display, the pirate fleet stretched vast and terrible. stolen vessels from countless races, painted in blood red, led by the blood. Harvest, a captured Valoran dreadnought, bristling with alien weapons. Then came the voice, harsh and mocking. Captain Razak Bloodfist, six-armed Korak warlord, sneered across every channel. "Greetings, weaklings. You know us. You know our price. Half your fleets, or we take them all." Queen Mother Laxara's voices buzzed in rapid calculation. 2,000 ships. Even combined, victory would raise this station. "Let them try!" Vextal flared in fury. "My plasma will burn them to dust." Yet behind their bravado, all made the same grim calculation. The Crimson Tide was one of the deadliest fleets assembled. Victory would be ruin. Through it all, Li Wu watched calmly. Then he keyed his comm. "Captain Li Wu to Home Fleet Command. Pirate activity at Grand Nexus. Requesting standard patrol. Response." The alien leaders turned, stunned. A patrol against 2,000 ships? The reply came at once, crisp and confident. "Acknowledged, Captain Wu. Task Force Saber en route. ETA 4 minutes. Thexar laughed in disbelief. "A task force against the Crimson Tide? How many ships will you sacrifice?" Li Wu glanced at his communicator. "Task Force Saber numbers approximately 8,000 vessels under Captain Moon J." The Chamber. "That's impossible. No species commands that many vessels in a single force. You must mean 800, War Chief Catherine insisted. "Or perhaps 80. The translation system must be in error." Li Wu shook his head gently. 8,000 is correct. A standard patrol response for pirate threats of this size. Before protests could rise, the void itself tore open. This was no small jump portal like the one Admiral Park Jin's 50 ships had used. This was a hyperspace gateway kilometers wide, vast enough for entire armadas. The first destroyers emerged, sleek and dark, moving in flawless ranks. Hundreds, then thousands, poured out, each identical, each holding formation with machine-like precision. Behind them came the cruisers, heavier vessels with layered armor and more weapons. They arrived in ordered ranks, sliding seamlessly into their assigned positions. Then the battleships appeared, hulking giants dwarfing even Valoran dreadnoughts, bristling with weapon ports, engines burning with caged nuclear fire. "This cannot be," High Admiral Thexar whispered, voice unsteady. "No civilization builds fleets of this scale." But still they came. Heavy cruisers bristling with magnetic accelerators. Assault carriers unleashing swarms of fighters that moved like metallic schools of fish. War Chief Cathran tried to count, but the numbers broke his mind. 5,000, 6. They just keep coming. At last, the human fleet settled into a defensive net around the Grand Nexus station. Every vessel slid into its exact place, a formation so precise it looked more like a work of art than military positioning. Then a voice cut across every channel, calm, commanding, absolute. "Captain Moon J. This is Captain Moon of the Human Defense Fleet. Crimson Tide vessels. You have 30 seconds to surrender, or be destroyed. This is your only warning." Razak Bloodfist's laughter rolled across the comms. "Human whelps. You think numbers frighten us? We are the Crimson Tide, we fear nothing." Yet even as he barked defiance, his fleet shifted uneasily. They had expected perhaps 1,000 alien ships in total. Instead, they faced humans alone, outnumbering them 4-1. 30 seconds elapsed. Captain Moon declared evenly, "All human vessels, weapons free, destroy the pirate fleet." What followed was not a battle. It was annihilation. 8,000 warships fired as one, magnetic accelerators thundering. Projectiles screamed across space at fractions of light. Speed! Crimson Tide ships died in droves, shields buckling, hulls shredding. Dozens fell, then hundreds. Razak Bloodfist tried to rally his armada, but his voice broke against the storm. His fleet was being slaughtered faster than he could issue orders. Panic overtook him. "Retreat! Retreat! All ships jump!" Perhaps 500 vessels managed to flee, vanishing into hyperspace without firing a shot. In less than 3 minutes, the Crimson Tide had been reduced to wreckage and fleeing survivors. Silence consumed the chamber. The alien leaders stood rooted, staring at the human fleet in mute disbelief. 8,000, Queen Mother Laxara whispered, her voices trembling. 8,000 in a single patrol force. How many fleets do you have? Admiral Park Jin's voice answered smoothly. Task Force Sabre is one of 12 patrol groups assigned to this sector. Comparable forces guard every colony and trade route. Thexar's mind raced, calculating. 12 task forces, nearly 100,000 ships. Li Wu spoke softly, almost gently. Those are just patrols, not our main battle groups. Fleet mind Zix Nova dimmed until she was nearly transparent. How much larger? The home defense fleet numbers 50,000 vessels, Li Wu replied. And there are 8 of them, protecting our core systems. Catherine's shadow form flickered and collapsed inward. 400,000? You command 400,000 warships. Dr. Jiang Min, ever helpful, added. Those are only active duty. We also maintain reserves and construction lines. Fell silent. 8,000, Zix Nova whispered. Facilities capable of building additional ships as needed, Dr. Jiang Min continued smoothly. Grand Marshal Vexthol's fiery body flickered like a candle fighting the wind. How many reserve ships? Approximately 1.2 million vessels. In varying states of readiness, Dr. Jiang said, eyes on his datapad, plus manufacturing capacity for about 50,000 new ships per year. Silence swallowed the chamber. In one afternoon, the 5 leaders had gone from dismissing humanity as a primitive species to realizing they faced the largest war machine in recorded galactic history. Why? Fleetmind Zix Nova finally asked, her crystalline voice sharp with unease. Why build so many? What threat demands such fleets? Li Wu let his gaze sweep across the alien dignitaries who had spent the day boasting of their own power. We learned early the galaxy is dangerous. Pirates, hostile empires, unknown forces from beyond charted space. We chose preparation over complacency. But surely, High Admiral Thexar's voice faltered. You do not need this many for defense. You are correct, Li Wu admitted. We do not. But when others know we have this capability, most prefer to talk rather than fight. The silence grew taut, heavy as a drawn blade. Beyond the viewing panes, Task Force Sabre was already departing, 8,000 ships vanishing into hyperspace, as efficiently as they had arrived. High Admiral Thexar's forearms hung limp as he stared at the fading tactical display. By the void, he whispered. We have been fools, utter fools. Zix Nova's crystal body pulsed in confusion. I do not understand. How did we not know? How did our intelligence services miss such a force? Li Wu answered evenly. They didn't. They classified our fleets as defensive. Since we rarely operate beyond our borders, most assumed we were a minor power. You saw what you expected to see. Young humans with a token navy tied to their homeworlds. You never considered we might choose to stay home. War Chief Kathran gave, a sound like bitter laughter. We mistook patience for weakness. Commander Kim Hai, silent until now, stepped forward. If I may, your species all follow a pattern. Build strength, expand, conquer. Humanity learned a different lesson. Grand Marshal Vexthul dimmed to a steady glow. What lesson? History, Kim Hai said. On Earth, the strongest empires often collapsed, brought down not by enemies, but by their own obsession with conquest. We chose another path, to build strength for protection, not expansion. Queen Mother Lixara's many voices buzzed with skepticism. With such power, surely you were tempted to take from weaker neighbors, Dr. Jiang Min replied before Li Wu could. Why would we? Conquest is wasteful, trade is cheaper, innovation is cleaner. We build what we need. Captain Li Wu, Admiral Park Jin's voice interrupted over comms, calm and precise. Demonstration. Complete. Task Force Sabre has neutralized the pirate threat and is resuming patrol. Thexar raised a hand suddenly. Wait. Before you go, the fleet we just witnessed, how does it compare to your others? A pause, then Park Jin's reply. Sabre is a standard patrol force. We have larger units if required. How much larger? Zix Nova pressed, her light patterns shifting uneasily. Each home defense fleet consists of 50,000 ships, Park Jin said matter-of-factly. There are 8 such fleets. The strategic reserve contains additional specialized forces, kept in storage for extreme emergencies. War Chief Cathran hissed like wind through graves. Extreme emergencies? What could possibly require more than this? Li Wu met their eyes. We have encountered things in deep space you have yet to face. Ancient automata guarding the ruins of dead civilizations. Hive minds that strip entire systems bare. Machine intelligences that see organics as raw materials. We build to meet them. A ripple of dread passed through the chamber. These were legends, myths they had never truly believed. Yet the humans spoke of them as confirmed realities. The galaxy is vast, Li Wu continued. Most species linger near their birth systems. We pushed farther. We have seen what waits, in the dark between the stars. And when it comes, we intend to be ready. Vexthul's fiery outline quivered. You face these horrors alone. So far, Li Wu replied. But we prefer allies. That is why we are here. High Admiral, Thexar rose to his full height, towering and grim. You could have conquered us all with what you already command. You could have made us subjects. Why didn't you? Li Wu's answer was simple, unflinching. Because conquest breeds enemies. Allies create strength. We would rather have 5 strong friends than 5 broken slaves. Territories requiring constant occupation are fragile. Partnerships endure. Fleet-mind Zix Nova's crystalline body pulsed with brighter light as she processed the human philosophy. You see military power as a tool for building alliances, not dominance. Exactly, Commander Kim Hai confirmed. A conquered enemy plots rebellion. A willing ally stands beside you when real threats arrive. Queen Mother Lixara's chorus resonated in harmony. This wisdom the hive can embrace. When all parts act willingly, the whole is stronger than anyone. Warakif Cathan's red eyes glowed with rare respect. You fight like warriors, but think like diplomats. An interesting union. Before anyone could reply, Captain Yun Ha's voice crackled through comms. Admiral Park Jin, priority transmission from Home Fleet Command. New survey data, outer rim sectors. Park Jin's tone sharpened. What kind of data? Long-range sensors detect movement in the void sector, Yun Ha reported. Something vast, inbound toward the galactic rim. Estimated arrival, 18 months. The alien leaders stiffened. For the first time, they heard concern in human voices. What lies in the void sector? Thexar demanded. Captain Li Wu checked. His datapad, his face grim. Automated war machines. Constructs left by a civilization that died 50 million years ago. We believed them dormant. Something has awakened them. Zix Nova's voice rang with sharp fear. How many? Approximately 10 million units, Dr. Jiang Min answered. From drone fighters to constructs the size of moons, all programmed to eliminate organic life. The chamber froze. 10 million ancient machines moving toward inhabited space was a threat no single empire could endure. This, War Chief Cathan said slowly, is why you build such fleets. You prepare for storms before they arrive. Yes, Li Wu confirmed. And this is why we seek allies. When those machines come, we will need every ship, every species. Vexthul's fiery form blazed hotter. Then the plasma lords will stand with humanity. Our ships may be fewer, but our fire melts any metal. The Chris Collective will also join, Fleetmind X Nova declared. Our biomechanical vessels can adapt even to ancient technology. Thexar crossed his forearms in firm resolve. The Valoran Empire has never retreated. Our devastators will shatter their hulls. The hive swarm brings numbers and unity, Lixara vowed. We will swarm and rip them apart. Our shadows will strike unseen, Wararkeef Kathan growled. Ancient machines cannot fight what they cannot detect. For the first time that day, Li Wu smiled. Then we have an alliance, 5 species plus humanity, united to defend civilized space. Admiral Park Jin's voice carried through the comms, steady and proud. Welcome to the Galactic Defense Alliance. Coordination begins immediately. Commander Kim Hai activated her datapad. We'll need joint training, shield-sharing protocols, coordinated ship designs. Our crystal fleets can carry Valoran planet crackers, Zix Nova suggested. Mobility with raw power, devastating. Stealth voidcraft delivering. Plasma lords to strike range, Kathan added, his shadow rippling with satisfaction. Thexar's tactical mind raced. Hive swarm coordination directing human fighter squadrons, perfect formations, flawless execution. As ideas cascaded, Li Wu watched in silence. Hours ago, these leaders had competed for dominance. Now they debated like comrades in arms. Dr. Jiang Min stepped close, lowering his voice. Do you think they truly understand what we are asking, Li? Wu nodded slowly. They understand enough that the machines are real, that humanity commands the largest fleet in history, and most of all, they understand we chose alliance over empire. And if, Yang Min asked carefully, the machines prove less dangerous than we projected,